Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome to our fourth meeting. Today we have the amazing Bari Ruddman, and she's going to do a talk on CBs, and it's going to be really helpful for all of you guys. And also we have our mental health focus that Sam's going to present later, and we also have some very exciting announcements. So just hang on for those. But for now, I'm going to give the floor to Valerie.
And as always, as a reminder, at every meeting, the QR code will be displayed on the screen, so you can take the Google form that records your attendance. And I will also post a link to the Google form in the chat so that you can all have access to it through a link. So for right now, just take your time to fill out the attendance form. And if you're late to the meeting, don't worry, I will always repost the link in the chat. And it's important to fill out the attendance form every meeting so that we know who joined our meetings in case you're new to Psi Beta. So Sina can send you an invitation to the Canvas shell.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just wait a little bit for those who just joined to do the attendance, and then we can move on. Oh, I see Bari. Hi, Bari.
Hi, Bari. Hi, Professor.
Hello.
It's really nice to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna wait like 15 more seconds and then I'm gonna move on. But don't worry, Valerie's gonna post it in the chat again. Okay, cool. Moving on.
All right, now that we are done with the attendance, we would like to introduce you to our guest speaker. And our guest speaker for this week is Bari Ruddman. And she had earned a BA degree in psychology from Cal State University in Fullerton, took a few years off while she earned her MS in counseling, again from Cal State University of Fullerton. Her first career-related position was a high school counselor in the Whittier Union High School District. She served as a high school counselor for 8 years, and at the same time teaching a few evening classes at Irvine Valley College in the psychology department.
And then also with her newly acquired MFT state license, she opened a counseling office and began a very small private practice on weekends. And an opportunity came up to apply for a counseling position in the disabled students program and services at Irvine Valley College. She was offered that position and served that student population for over 20 years. And even though she's retired, Mrs. Ruddman still accepts requests to assist with Psi Beta Honors Society at Irvine Valley College, which together with Dr. Jerry Ruddman began the first chapter at IVC in 1992. Thank you for being here, Bari, and agreeing to do this talk for our members.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and you can go ahead, Bari.
Thank you.
Of course.
As we work through this.
We're gonna expand this. How do you, we want to expand this on the little right hand corner.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, the little,
I see what you want.
yeah, just
It's not big.
go
enough.
here. Let's do
Make
this.
it, make it cut out.
Yeah, let's make it. Yeah,
I can see it. There we are. And then I want to go to. I am not a Zoom person. So.
Hey, that's fine.
there you go.
All right. So we're talking about curriculum vitae today, and go to the next.
I just entered.
There we go. Okay. What's all this stuff at the top?
Oh, that they don't see that. That's just a Zoom.
Okay. Okay. The curriculum vitae has a number of purposes, but it presents you all the things that you've done academics. You know, you're all probably familiar with the resume, and a curriculum vitae is very, very different. How many pages is a resume supposed to be?
One.
One. And you put everything in one. Are all of you familiar with Phil Zimbardo? He has a resume, it's 1 page, and he has a curriculum vitae that is 36 pages. So that's the difference between them. This is very much, the word here is detail. Academic accomplishments, relevant coursework. Relevant is the key all the way through a curriculum vitae. If you're applying for a psychology position or graduate school, or then you only want to be looking at things that are relevant to that particular position. Any presentations you've made, like if Psi Beta, if you make a presentation to the group, you want to write it down, the date and what it was, because you'll forget about it. 3 years from now, you won't remember that you did that. So you want to write it down. Any professional memberships? How many of you are a member of APA, student member of APA? How many? Say yes so I can hear you. Nobody? Shame on you. You get a student discount. And it's very inexpensive for students to belong to APA, WPA. So look it up and see if you can afford it and join it. You get all kinds of benefits from doing that. Any research interests that you have, you develop those when you get into Psych 2, the research class. You hear some of it when you get into statistics, when you get in, take a social psychology class. Any classes in the field of psychology, you'll start reading about the research other people have done. You go, oh, that looks interesting to me. And if it does, consider that as a research interest for you. You don't have to do anything with it, just so that you have an idea. When to begin a curriculum vitae is now. So it should be start when you are in freshman and sophomore in college, which is what you are. Community colleges teach freshmen and sophomores. So that's when you get into upper division, we don't teach that. So you need to move on to a 4-year school when you get to upper division coursework, which is considered a junior. So you start it now, and you do that by putting the template on your desktop. And every time anything comes up that needs, you'll look at, I'm going to show you the template in a minute, but when you get to a class, a presentation, to going to a conference, and you see any of the template headings that might be related, you start filling it in, start filling them in, put everything down. You can go back and you're going to edit it later, but it's very time consuming. You will be editing this your entire career, and it will add on, and you'll have more pages and you'll have more things to put down. And it feels really good to look at it when you see it afterwards, and you see all the things you've done that go on a curriculum vitae that you can present to people, because those are your skills that you've developed as a psych major, your accomplishments, your abilities, the things that you can present to an employer or to a graduate school committee. So this is very important. If you see a spot where you need to, yeah, okay, I forgot to do this. If you see some weak areas as you go along, maybe writing, or maybe your statistics, or maybe developing a language, any of those kinds of things, this is the time to start building up on that. So why? Why do you want to do a curriculum vitae? Well, graduate schools require it. If you're going on to any positions in academia in your future, and you may not want to do that now, but you might someday, they will require it as well. So, and it's committees, it's a group of people looking at your curriculum vitae, comparing it to others. So it's very, very important to stand out. You want to do things while you're, especially at IVC, because you're going to have opportunities to go to conferences, to make talks, to Psi Beta, to maybe go into classrooms and talk about things. You know, all those things count. So vita is singular. VITA is singular. VITAE, vitae, is plural. It's Latin. It's a Latin word for all of your accomplishments. It's multiple documents composed into a group. So curriculum vitas are not as important in the They're not as important in, wait. They're not as important in the business field because that's where resumes predominate. But in academics, this is the document that you want. So it's academic, it's research. Put your template on your computer and begin looking for opportunities. Be impressive and stand out. There are people that are at Stanford and Princeton and Columbia, and they are applying to the same places that you are. So you have to stand out. Okay, topics to include: your name and address, your phone, your email address. Now, if your email address should be professional. If your email address is cooldude@hotmail.com, you want to change that. Develop a new one that is just your name at, IVC, something like that. Personal history and objectives, that goes right underneath your email address if you're going to use it. This is one that's optional. So mostly they want to know, what are your goals? What kinds of things? A short paragraph, maybe 3-4 sentences at the most. So how do you whittle it down to what kind of research are you interested in? What kind of degrees do you want? Where do you see yourself? Very quickly. And then you talk about your education. Education is your most recent first, and then it goes backwards. So you don't do it so that it's down at the bottom. They want to know, where are you now? Where were you just before now? And then they're going to go down further if they are interested in that. This is your primary method of talking to people who are interested in you. And you'll use this after you get a doctorate, if you decide to go that far, fellowships, internships, any licenses. Relevant coursework is important. So if you want to work in the field of social psychology, all the things that you study in social psychology are things that you would put there. If you're interested in working in animal behavior, working in a vet's office is important. You want to put that down. But if you're going to go into experimental, what you did as a barista is not important. Okay. So you want to include scholarships, awards. How many of you have gotten the Psi Beta award already, or scholarship, or money from Psi Beta for? Okay, so that you need to write that down. When did you get it? What was it for? What was the name of it? What was the date that you received it? You got it at IVC. And that's just write that kind of stuff down. That'll jog your memory if you want to add anything else later. Your research interests, your publications that you do. Students who are sophomores are publishing. Freshmen and sophomores. Do you know that IVC has a journal? And you can submit papers to that journal, and then you have published. Conference presentations. Most people, when they go to a conference, the first thing they do is a poster presentation. How many of you have been to WPA or any conferences, either online or there? Okay, so Santa, what did you see there? Did you see the posters?
Yes, I did see the posters. There were I didn't present. No, I was just attending last year, but
there's
I did
hundreds. There's hundreds.
Yes, there's a lot of posters.
They're every hour, an hour and 15 minutes. There's another 100 come in, and then they go out and another 100 come in all day long. And you can kind of go, they do it by topic. So you can pick out the areas that you're interested in and then go see what other students at other schools are doing research on. And you go, oh yeah, can I have a copy of that paper? I like that. And then you can do research in that area too. So it's a really good way for you to get knowledgeable about what the field is about. Professional affiliations, that would be belonging to APA or belonging to WPA. And it costs, once you're a professional, you're done with your degrees and you're working, it is very expensive to be in APA and WPA. So this is a good time to get started because it's very inexpensive for you. What kind of technical proficiencies do you have? That means—
Professor Bari, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So for the professional affiliation, you're saying like the WPA and the APA. So I am very confused on what you mean by that. Like, what do you mean by applying for that? What would that consist of?
Well, you would go to American Psychological Association website, which is apa.org, and then look for the application and see it, look through it before you apply and see if that's of any interest to you. And you can go to Western Psychological Association website as well, which is WPA.org. Western Psych is from the Rockies West, including Hawaii. Then there's another one from the Rockies East. Then there's a Midwest. Then there's a Eastern. So depending on where you live, those are your regional. That means in your area where you live, there is going to be an American Psychological Association regional conference that is specific to your area. That means all the people that are coming there are predominantly people that are, if you go to Western Psychological, the people there are from Long Beach and Cal State Fullerton. They're from UC Riverside. They're from San Diego, Long Beach, Stanford. They're from the University of Hawaii. They're from Toronto. So, those are the people you're going to see. And if you go to the Eastern, you're going to see people from Columbia and from Harvard and other state and local colleges there. So you will hobnob around, which means you get to talk to professors and other students from those colleges and say, I'm thinking about applying there. What do you think of it? Do you like it? Who are your favorite teachers? And then see if one of them are presenting and go say, I want to meet that person. And you grab one of your advisors and say, please introduce me to that professor from Harvard, because I want to talk to him or her.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Did it answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay. I was throwing out abbreviations and you didn't know what they were, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That I will try to do that. Okay. And the technical proficiencies are things that you're going to pick up in statistics and research. What software do you know? How many of you know Excel? Anybody? Raise your hand so I can see. Okay, Excel kind of. Okay, that may be one of those areas I talked about before that you need to strengthen. Take this. You're in a great place to take an Excel class in the computer science department. How many of you know SPSS? That's in your statistics class. So make sure you take Psych 10, not Math 10, Psych 10. Math 10 is statistics. It goes all the same places. It meets all the same requirements, but it is a business statistics. It is not psychological statistics. Very, very different course, very different statistics that you will learn. And then, relevant community and volunteer experiences, the same kind of thing before. Make sure that you are just talking about things that are relevant. Look for volunteer experiences that will give you something in the field that you're looking at. How many of you have got an interest in the field of psychology, a certain interest? Like what? What are you? Yes, same. What is your interest?
Oh, my interest is clinical.
It's what?
Clinical psychology.
Clinical psychology. Okay. So if you were going to volunteer your time, what are some places that you might consider volunteering?
Mental health hospitals, possibly.
Okay, fine. A clinic, our health in the health department. Any place else where sometimes private practices, they need somebody to answer the phones. It doesn't matter what you're doing there. If you are sweeping the floors, answering the phones, they figure you're getting exposed to that particular industry. So look at that. And then how many of you have another language that you speak? Okay, good. They're going to want to know, can you read? Can you write in that language? Can you carry on a conversation in that language? So you want to write all that down. It's one thing to say you're bilingual, and then it turns out you can say hello, and that's it. So they want to know that because they're going to ask you, and you don't want to be embarrassed. Okay, references. This is an area where most people will say references provided on request. Why do you think they do that? Any ideas? Rather than listing names and addresses and phone numbers of faculty and people that they'd like to be their reference. You don't want to publish out there and throw around the names of people without their permission. So you talk to them first and say, would you be a reference for me? And I'm going to send it to this college, this college, this college. But then don't make it blanket all over the world. Oh, I'm sorry, that little hand is for Ryan, yes. Where'd he go?
Sorry.
There you are.
So, hello, Professor. For technical proficiencies, like I'm curious to like I have a question for it. Like, I want to refine my statistical skills. Is there like any place where I can do it aside from like taking classes?
Well, if you in the work environment, they taught you, but it's not, it doesn't come by osmosis. It doesn't just occur or during your sleep. You have to take a class or you have to learn by somebody who can teach you that. But Psych 10 is the best place. That is the beginning class in it where you get, and then you're going to take many, many more after you transfer. So it's good to get those down before you transfer.
Thank you.
And does that answer your question? Yes.
It's a fair answer. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, personal history. This is what we were talking about under the very beginning, and personal history is the same as your personal objectives. That's usually what it's phrased as, is personal objectives. And then what is your background? You know, quickly, what is your background? Where have you been? What degrees have you got? And that's it. You don't go on about it. You just say, I have a bachelor's degree from, or I have an associate degree from. My future goals are to receive a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a PhD, and I want to go into research in yada, yada area. The next one is very interesting. This is a question that when they interview you, if you're interested in going into grad school or for a job position, they very often will ask you this question and the last one. What do you want from our institution? What can we do for you? And then the question is, what can you do for us? What are you going to contribute to the college that you go to? What are you going to do? How are you going to be seen? What researchers are you interested? Are you interested in teaching? You know, they depending on the degree that you're going to, they are interested in people who want to teach in graduate school. So those are things to keep in mind. Now I have a template for you, and we'll look at this. Yeah. Yes.
So let's do the full minimize. Oh, that's okay. Oh, did you have it up? Call it up again. I'm going to share our screen. Can you minimize the screen?
Okay, we're working on it.
Okay, so where did it go? Or did you close it up?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. Okay. Call it.
That's just the PowerPoint. I saw it down there, but
Yeah. Okay, look. Share again. Here we go. And then what we need to do is minimize this. Can we minimize this? Yeah. There we go. And let's minimize this screen. Yeah. Okay, now call that other document up. Okay, so I did it again. So go ahead and open it up, and then just make it smaller so we can get access to the. There we go. Now we're going to share our screen, and then you can make it big again. Okay, there we go.
okay, so this is the curriculum vitae. You can see up above your full name, no nicknames, just put your full name, your address, your phone number, cell phone. Make sure you have your area code so they don't get the wrong state, and a professional email address. And then education is next, graduate institution on down. So, and some of these are not familiar to you. You know, what is a fellowship? What kind of licenses would I want? Relevant experience, research interests, publications, conference presentations. I'm going to, I'll send this to Sena. Is I saying that right?
Sina, yes, you can email it to me and I'll share it.
I will email it to her and she can share it with all of you. And foreign language, it tells you a little bit about it here. You can also, people do different things on a curriculum vitae. You can Google it and get a different template with some other things you might want to add to it. But references, a separate page. Always ask the person, always before you put them. You don't want them to get a phone call from someone and they're going to say, I'm sorry, I don't even know that person. that is a terrible thing to have said. You don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you get their permission first, because if they have a problem with it, they will tell you. They will say, no, I'd rather you didn't. I don't know you that well. I didn't get to know you. So please don't, or else absolutely it would be honored to have you to take my name and put it on your curriculum vitae, or on your resume, or as a reference anytime. Especially tell them where it's going so that they know, because you're applying for such and such, and then they'll know, okay, they're going to get a call from somebody. Okay. Right now, let's go back.
Go ahead and minimize that. Let's unshare the screen first. Let's do that. Now go ahead and get rid of that. And then call up your next document.
Back to
This
the,
one here. Go back to the presentation.
Mhm.
And then I'll go ahead
Oh,
and
it's down
share
here,
that.
I think.
Yeah, let's go ahead and share the screen now, because you're going to be able to open that up. Hey, wait, minimize that. Yeah, it's okay. Let's go ahead and share the screen. And then,
Oh, there it
yeah,
is.
And
Okay.
then go share. And then now go ahead and open that.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Or I should do this one.
Whatever, yeah. Whatever.
Cool. All right, good. I am so glad to have Carrie here. Okay, educational history. I'll list all of your post-secondary colleges, schools. Secondary is high school. The only thing that is relevant is post-secondary. So that means the day you graduate from high school, from then on, you can list things on your curriculum vitae. High school is not something they want. Major, minor, what degree did you get? Honors, scholarships, awards, licenses, certificates, anything like that. And again, your most relevant is listed from current. So right now you're in Irvine Valley College, and so that's where you start. And if you had gone to Orange Coast before that, you would list that next. And then before that, maybe was someplace else. So that's how this goes. Listing as many things as you can. Professional experience. Sign, how are we doing for time?
You're all right. You have 28 more minutes.
Good. So list all of these things. These are things that are on the template. And as you come across them, put them down. Some of these you will not encounter until you're in a bachelor's degree. Take advantage of anything like this that comes up in your bachelor's degree. Then you can go on, if you go on to a master's degree. Some people get confused about this. You get an associate degree from a community college. You get a bachelor's degree from any four-year college, whether it's private or state, like UC versus Chapman. But from that point, it changes. It is the mandate of the community colleges to provide certificates and associate degrees. That's what the state supports us for. The state colleges provide, some of them provide associate degrees, but generally not. Bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. The University of California provides bachelor's degrees and doctorates. They do not give you master's degrees. Very, very rarely do you see a master's degree. They do it in business, they do it in economics, but not many other places. So you can go from a bachelor's degree directly into a PhD program. But in order to do that, when you're at your bachelor's degree program, you have to work in a lab, you have to do research, you have to be very good at statistics and being able to read journals and what's going on and understand it, because they don't want to teach you at the doctorate level. They want you to come in knowing what it is you're doing. So that's why a lot of people will go to a master's degree program first at a Cal State and major in psychology, in experimental, social, something that has a lot of research in it. And then you know what you're doing, and then and be in the lab for one of your professors while you're at your bachelor's degree, and you have to look for them in the summer before the fall starts and get accepted in the summer. And you do that when you leave IBC as well. If you're going to UCI, then start looking for a lab in the summer before you transfer, early summer, because by the time the fall starts, the lab positions are all taken. So first, the way you do that is you go into their faculty directory in psychology, and you look up all the different professors, take the time to see what are they doing research in. You don't want to spend the next 2 years doing research on a topic that you hate. So you want to find somebody who's doing research on something that you like. And then you start emailing them, say, I noticed you're doing research in this and that, and I'm really interested in that. And I've read a paper that you wrote, or I'm familiar with what you're doing, and I'd be interested in being in your lab. I'm coming to UCI in the fall. Can I talk to you about that? And they will send their lab assistant to talk to you. The lab assistants make all the decisions. So they are people to impress. So if you get a lab assistant calling you, don't think, oh, well, shoot, it's not the professor. They don't make those calls. It's the lab assistants to do it. So if you don't impress them, you're not going to get the job. So make sure they know that you are wonderful. Okay, so list all of these things. Grants that you wrote isn't something you're going to do at this level. Give the title and full name, address of any supervisors, and no jargon. People who are considering you, sometimes committees are formed with a variety of disciplines, people from different disciplines, and they may not know what you're talking about. So make sure that it's clear to everyone. Okay. Back to membership and professional affiliations, professional organizations. This is where you list all those organizations. When did you become a member? Which area? All of them have areas. You may belong to the Western Psychological Association, but in it they have 52 areas of interest. And from that 52, you can choose, I don't know, you could choose 1 or 2. And then you get all emails from them, you get information from them, who's talking where, that you can go and listen to a lecture. It's kind of interesting. Leadership roles. Now, how many of you are leaders have leadership roles in Psi Beta right now? Okay, that goes down on your curriculum vitae. It's something that's a leadership role that you've already participated. So hey, that's something you can put on there already. How about that? Okay, professional activities. Did you start a project? How many of you are working on something from the Psych 115 or in some other, okay, that goes in there, that's a project. If you complete it, you can say that. In-service presentations, are you going to classrooms and talking about what you're doing? That may be something, a guest lecture in a classroom where you're talking about Psi Beta, you can do that too. Participate in or present in any workshops where you're talking to students and training them, doing it. That's all part of what you're learning right now. So keep that in mind and write them down on, put the template when you get it on your desktop and start filling those sections in. There's already, some of you will be able to put down your name and your address and that's it. Other people can fill in 2 or 3 places. Some of them can fill in 5 or 6. Some of them, if you're ready to transfer pretty soon, can fill in maybe 10 with at least one thing under each one. But then you're familiar with what that category means. And once you transfer, you'll be looking for them. Undergraduates do publish, like I said before. If you're doing a poster, sometimes it's a whole group, or a paper presentation. It's a group of people, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Some professors want to be listed first, some don't care, and they want to be last. They want you to highlight yourself. It depends on the professor. Most recent first, so if you just went to WPA, you list those experiences there. They present themselves all over, so be listening to them. You know, when it comes up, take advantage of it. Okay, papers and poster presentations. If you are in Psych, it is usual to take Psych 10 first and then to take Psych 2. In order to do the research, you need to have the statistical background. So it's good to have them in that order. So when you do your research paper in the research class, Psych 2, you have something that you can present. So they're saying, okay, WPA is coming up. Who's going to present their paper? Or there's a contest coming up. Who wants to do their paper? IVC is notorious for winning all of these things. So it's a great commendation to your professors at IVC. They teach you well. So make sure you stand out. Do a good job on your papers. That becomes your poster. Or if you're doing a talk at a conference, you just explaining what it is you did. You know, you have 15 minutes to talk about it. So those are all good things to do, and then you can write it down. Okay, technical proficiencies, software. What software do you know? And how many of you know more than just Excel? You list them, even as simple as Word, list them all, you know, so that they can see that, okay, you're computer literate, you know what you're doing. Any other, you know, statistical software, there's more than just SPSS. There's every year, there's 2 or 3 more that join the group. So any of them that you have the opportunity to learn while you're at IVC, make sure to mention them. Technical proficiencies, we already talked about them. Community involvement, what is relevant to your area of research in your community, at your school, as part of your honor society, or how many of you are involved in another club on campus besides Psi Beta? Anybody? Okay, did they do anything charitable or help out in the community? All those things go down here. This is a part of being a member of the community, and you want to be a productive member. Volunteer experiences, your dates, location supervisor. Do you have any leadership positions? What did you do? You know, did you just listen and go to the meetings and never participate? They don't want to see that. They want to see that you jumped up and said, yeah, choose me. I'm going to go do this or that. Okay. Foreign language proficiency, again, being fluent in reading and writing, knowing that any of those, just be honest, make sure you're honest. If you can carry on conversational French and that's it, that's fine, say that, because you don't want them to say, okay, write me a sentence or two, and then you don't know how to do it. You don't be caught like that. Just be very honest, and then you will excel. You can always pick that up if you want. Okay, so I want to show you a sample curriculum vitae. What? Yes, but what I want to tell you about it first is this is from a student who was an IVC student. She was one of those people that is interested in everything, and any kind of an opportunity that came up, she said, I don't have any idea what that is, but I'm going to try it out. And she did. And so she then went from Irvine Valley College to UCLA. Okay, now what am I doing? Do we have to not share?
Do you see it?
What?
Do you see the document that you're opening?
It's here.
Okay. Just click on it.
Okay, so I took her name off of it. This is with her permission, but this is starting most where she is right now. This is where she is now. And then she got her BA there, but she started off at Irvine Valley College. So she had a great GPA, so she said it. She had college honors. She talked about when she came and when she graduated. Here's her graduation. Then she went to UCLA for a bachelor's degree, and now she's in a doctorate program. She's almost done. But if you look down here, she left IVC in May of 2014. So this is what I want to show you. From right here, oops, I went too far. Up. From 23, again, they're in backwards order. This is what she did at Irvine Valley College. So she had all of these on her curriculum vitae when she went to UCLA. This part is from UCLA on. So she's received a lot of scholarships because she's one of those people that likes to do things. Here's a publication she was a part of. This is while she was at UCLA, but here's, she's got her name is there. Here it is again. Conference presentations, all of these, she's presented all of these. And she, with different people almost every time. Her research experience. And this was at UCLA. And here's where she did some research with Dr. Ruddman and Phil Zimbardo. Peer mentoring, Irvine Valley, I think 13th Irvine Valley. Yeah. And then this is UCLA. This is IVC. These are, now talk about affiliations. She's in everything. So These down here, 2014, these are the ones that she was in at IVC. Whoops. Psi Beta, WPA student representative and member. She got involved. Association for Psychology Students, Science Students, that's another association. That's more scientific oriented. So now up here is all UCLA. So you can kind of see how it comes together. Whatever you do here is very important to jot them down and keep track of them, because this looks pretty impressive, right? When it came, she was done with her bachelor's degree, they asked her to be a part of their doctorate program. She never had to apply. Okay. Back to, okay, references. If you're going to go on to graduate school, plan on 3 to 5. If they say 3, they want 3. If you send 2, your application goes in the trash. 3 to 5. And they are very specific and they're very clear on it. And that's how they eliminate people that they don't want, is by people who don't follow the directions. So 3 to 5. These 3 to 5 should be research people who know you. So either you did research with them or you had a class with them. And most of the time that's your bachelor's degree because you're doing more research there. People who know you, you've been in their office hours, you've gotten to know them because you're involved in their lab, you've impressed them. Again, always ask permission before including any name on a document. Do not include yeah, it's don't ask, I'm back up for a minute, there's something I didn't say. If you're going to ask for a letter of recommendation from a professor, hopefully there's somebody who knows you. You've been in their office hour, you've had a class with them, they know who you are. And if they have some questions, they'll say, come make an appointment with me, let's sit down and talk. And then they can put it together. They should be able to write 2 to 5 pages about you. This is not 3 sentences. If it's 3 sentences, it goes nowhere. That is clear to the people reading it that professor is being nice and didn't know you. So make sure you spend some time getting to know them. It's very embarrassing to go ask a professor for a letter of recommendation and have them say, you know, I can see on my attendance that you came to class, but I don't think I've ever met you. I have no idea what I would say. That's just embarrassing. Don't put yourself in that position. If you think you're going to want a letter of recommendation from teacher X, Y, or Z, go to their office hours and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I have something I want to ask you about your class or about the book or about a paper we're writing or something like that, and talk to them. And they love talking to students. Professors' office hours are actually student hours. They are paid to be available to students during that time. So it's kind of a misnomer. I wish they would change that so students were clear that this is time faculty make themselves available to you. So go in and get to know them. Don't leave any college or any experience without people knowing who you are. Okay. Do not include. This is kind of an interesting one. I've seen some of these things on curriculum vitas and applications and resumes, and be careful. They don't want to know your age, and they shouldn't, and it's not legal for them to ask it. So don't even put it on there. Ethnicity, political affiliation, your religious preference, hobbies. I'm not interested in your hobbies unless it happens to be relevant to what it is you're doing. Marital status doesn't matter. Sexual orientation doesn't matter. They want to know your qualifications, place of birth, padding, that just takes up space. Photographs, don't have photographs all around the outside edges of people that are important to you, your dog, your cat, your height, your weight, your health, not important. High school activities, you're past that. Once you get into college, that's what you're looking at. The names of your animals, your favorite poem at the end, your astrological sign. Don't do any of those things. They're going to look at that and go, oh my gosh, this is not a serious person. Okay, so the format is white paper only. Why do you think that might be? Why just white paper? This is going to groups of people who are going to be sitting around in committees looking at your paperwork. Why would they want? What?
It's uniform and easy to read.
It's
It's
all black and white.
easier, absolutely easier to read. If it's colored paper and colored ink, sometimes they're going through these things fast. They've got 500 to 1,000 applications. And so they're going through them fast. They're not going to take the time to try to figure out what you're trying to say. Single-sided only. The reason for that is they make copies of them and pass them around to the people in the committee. If it's double-sided, the double second side may not have gotten copied, and there may be important things on the other side. So make it single-sided, black ink only, number the pages. So professors, sometimes they're carrying lots of stuff. You've seen them walking from place to place. They've got papers and none of them are attached to each other, and then off they go. And if they drop them, who knows? Two pieces of your curriculum vitae could be mixed up with somebody else's. I'll make it large enough font. A lot of these people have been in academia for a long time, and you want to make sure they can read it. Proof and reproof. Errors are not acceptable. Absolutely. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. If you've got errors in it, it will go in the wastebasket. Typos and grammatical errors eliminate you from consideration. Ask other people to read it. I know some people go when they're getting ready to transfer and they're doing these kinds of things. They will go to an English professor or they will go to the writing lab and ask the person to read it for that, because they're good at that. They will look for detail and they will help you make sure you get it right. So make sure as many people as possible read it and change the typos and reread it again and redo whatever you need to. Okay. Be concise, write very clearly, use bolding and italics and underlining, but just don't overdo it. Use a high quality printer. If you don't have one, go to a printing business and get it done. Okay, formatting no-nos, no complicated graphics, no tricky fonts. If you do it in some kind of a script, that's really hard to read. So don't make it just very, very plain, very plain. No photographs of you and Rover, no clip art and flowers and pretty pictures, no cute graphics. No emojis, that's kind of the current thing now. No colored paper, no colored ink, none of that stuff. It doesn't matter how cute you are, don't put your pictures on there. That's not important and it detracts from it. So two types of curriculum vitas. A static one is seen as general and is a strange word for it. It's a generic CV that you're going to go to a conference and you're going to hand these things out to people that you see that you may be interested in going to their college. So you want to hand them out. So it's kind of, it keeps it, what you say about it is it's not to a specific lab at a specific college or a specific job at a particular industry or college. It's in general, this is who I am and I'm interested in this kind of research and I'm just kind of looking for a place. So you can send out a lot of those at a time that way. The dynamic is very different. You know that you want to go to UC Riverside and you want to go into social psychology and you want to work in somebody in particular's lab. That one, you want to make it clear that it's going right to that, and this is your interest, and this is really what you want to do, and this is why you've done this kind of volunteering, you've done these kinds of research papers, you've done X, Y, and Z, you know, so make sure that you add all of that in there. A separate cover letter should always go with a specific curriculum vitae. And one thing you need to be sure of is if you're sending it to the dean or the chair of the department or to a particular person, look their name up in the directory of the college. If you say Mr. and it's a Mrs., you say Mrs. and it's a doctor, those things are kind of slights. You're slighting to that person, it's an insult. So take the time to get the spelling correct. You know, we have many, many cultures in the United States and many advanced people high up in academia. If If the person is from a culture that is not familiar to you, you may not be familiar with the spelling of their last name. Make sure you get it right. Look it up and make sure you get it down right. They will be very impressed. Okay, so online, that's sometimes they'll ask for it online because it's easier for them to get it around to the other people that are involved in looking at these things as well. Employers and graduate schools may be interested in your curriculum being online. And sometimes if it's online, they may be looking at it without you even knowing about it. And it could be that you'll get an unexpected call from someone. So be prepared. If you put it online, you don't know who's going to be looking at it. So there are resume books, there are everything on curriculum vitas all around. So last tips, keep in contact with the faculty that you know and that you seem to have something in common with and you like them. Stay in contact with long after you've gone. We still see people, they're in the area from some other place many, many years later, and we have lunch with them or coffee or something because they want us to stay in touch because we're still writing letters of recommendation for these people. They've made decisions and they're going on. So these people, the faculty that you start off with that you get to know at no matter what level you are as you move along, they're the ones that are going to be your strongest letters of recommendation. I've got some websites here, but I would suggest the best places for you is to go onto Google and look up curriculum vita for psychology or curriculum vita for social psychology, curriculum vita for, and then you'll see some that are specific to your area. And that's the best way, but these are books too. And I'll send this PowerPoint to Sana as well. Okay, thank you very much. It's nice talking to you. You guys have a good rest of the year at Irvine Valley and talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bari.
Are there any questions?
Yes.
There's a hand here. Shireen? Yes?
Oh, that's me clapping for you. I think everything was so clear. Yeah.
I actually did have a question.
Okay.
I am curious because you said presentations and like if you went into a class. I give presentations this year at every Psi Beta meeting as being the mental health chair. Is that something that should be going on a CV?
Sure. Yeah, yes. That's a leadership role. And you would say that you're a chair of the mental health and you make presentations to every Psi Beta meeting.
Awesome.
And the meetings are, once a week. So that's a good thing to, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bari. Thank you for the detailed information about the curriculum vitae. It reminded me.
Where are you? Where are you?
I am here. You cannot see me.
No, there's a thing in front of
My
me.
face is my face is not
There
there,
it
but
is.
I'm here.
No. Hi, Emmy.
I want to thank you. It's really wonderful, and this is something that for all of you is just immeasurable. All the details of things, and not putting your age and your cat and all of that. And importantly, just getting the names of the instructor correctly. It is very important, because it shows in some way you really know you are very conscientious about what you're doing. So
Right.
you want to do that, get the names correctly, spell the name correctly, and of course, in some way, don't put things you're not supposed to put in there. So it's really wonderful. So guys, you really got a gold here with, Bari providing all this information. I didn't get this information when I was going to school. So every time she presented, I was like, wow, this is so cute. So anyway, yeah. So guys, it's wonderful. So thank you very much, Bari. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Yemi. So it's nice talking to all of you, and I will be sending forward the PowerPoint and the template. Yeah, the template. So it's one template. It's a good one to use, and you can expand on it and look for other topic areas to put in there because there's some things that are relevant to you that not to other people. And so you certainly could put it in there and have different categories as well. Okay, thank you very, very much. Oh, hello.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Hi. This is Vibhuti, and I'm from India. So this is my first meeting that I'm attending with these people.
Okay. Hello.
So yeah, it's the very first time. And I would have a little doubt. Actually, this is the first visit at US, so I'm not sure anything about here. I have done my master's in clinical psychology from India. And how should I go about here? Should I go for internships first and then look for a PhD? Or should I go for another master's over here? How should I go about?
You can do either one, but it depends. Your degrees from another country are
Yes.
going to be evaluated course by course by course, not by degree. So we don't accept degrees from other countries, and then there's a reason for that. If those who went to high school here and then went into college, you know that your first 2 years are general education. And in high school, the same thing. You get a lot of general history and math and English and so on. And that's not necessarily the case in other countries. So they go directly from high school, a shorter period of high school, right into their, I guess you'd say university of their choice, engineering or whatever. So there isn't, the general ed isn't there. So that's why we don't. So, but they will absolutely take it course by course. So whatever courses relate to the degree that you're looking at the college you're going to, they will evaluate that. So if, and maybe that'll be more than what you need to be accepted into that college. So you might want to try that route. But if they say, you know, we need more in this area, you can then take just courses rather than get a whole nother degree. So it'd be good. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, ma'am. Kind of.
Okay, what else did you want to know about it?
I just wanted to say, so, hi guys, sorry, this is Carrie Tucker, I'm with Bari. Anyway, each graduate school will have their prerequisites that are required. So what you would want to do is look at the university where you want to attend and see what prerequisites you have to take. We've had students who had different degrees and they've retrained and wanted to go into clinical. So we recently had a student who came back to IVC to get some prerequisites, and then she did some research and now she's in a PhD program at Green Bowling State in clinical. So it's a pretty accessible thing that you can do. So you just have to know where you want to go, see what their prerequisites are. But I also wanted to just make this one comment on Bari's talk, because not only is she talking about what a curriculum vitae is and the different categories that you can put on your vita, what Bari just did is show you all the students on how to be competitive, not only at the undergraduate level, but also at the graduate level. So if you review her talk and look at these things, these are the entries that you need to make yourself more competitive. And like Yemi said, I wish I would have had this information when I was an undergraduate student, but I didn't, and I learned it later, and then I became competitive, but it would have saved me a lot of years in trying to become competitive. So I would suggest to you to look back on this talk that she talked about, because these categories are the things that will make you competitive, and the world is open to you if you do that. What I mean by that is you can get into competitive programs, and you can also have those, and when those programs are competitive, what that does is it makes it more likely that you will get funded for your program, owing nothing at the end of it. So not only that, but making contacts for you for your future careers. So I hope you review it back. It's a valuable talk. If I could emphasize anything, is to reinforce what she had talked about and what she emphasized in that, because it'll make you competitive. And I'm super excited for you guys to use that information so that you guys can be competitive and have your dreams realized, like we've seen so many students at IVC do. So I just wanted to say that. I'll bring it back to commercial break. Being competitive is the name of the game. So make sure all you have to do is whatever your interest is in, is pursue it. You know, look for things that will get you there. You know, so
if I may make a quick,
of course,
may I make a quick remark? In case you don't know, there are companies that evaluate your degrees from from other countries, and they do course by course the grade for each course, and they do GPA and everything. So
you can go to the counseling office and get the names of those companies.
Yeah, you can go to the website NACES. I write it in the chat, NACES.org, and there is the list of those companies there. But make sure that you look at the website of the program that you want to go to, because each program has a list of those companies that they accept. So not all programs accept the same ones. So just look at the program and see which one they like.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? Okay, well, thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being
enjoy.
here, Barry. We really,
You're
really,
welcome.
really appreciate it. This is really helpful, and it's definitely going to make a difference. So we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
And as soon as we're done here, I will send those things to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, and I will share it during the recap, and you guys can have access to it. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to start sharing my screen again if I can find it. There we go. Okay. All right. We have some fun announcements before our mental health segment. So I'm going to give the floor to Josh first. So go ahead, Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh Tella. Can you hear me? Everything good? Okay, so my name is Josh and I'm your wellness coordinator. And I'll be hosting 2 weekly meetings, like journaling, mindfulness sessions. And I want to say thank you to Sina and the rest of the officers for giving me this opportunity to lead these sessions. And I want to talk about why journaling is so important to me. And I have so I want to tell you a little bit about me and what led me to this position. So in middle school and high school, I didn't know it, but I started to become really depressed and developed really bad social anxiety. I never told anyone what I was feeling, and I always felt like two people, an actor and someone who was suffering. In my free time, I stopped doing things I enjoyed and I stopped hanging out with my friends. For a long time, I mostly just looked forward to falling asleep so I didn't have to think. Beyond all the distance between put between myself and others, I still felt hopeless and deeply unsatisfied with my life. One night, I was having a panic attack and decided I had enough of what I was feeling and I wanted to commit suicide. I didn't feel like I could get a handle on my thoughts, so I started texting and calling people, but no one got back to me. By the time I finished calling the last person, I thought to myself that it was over and that I was going to end it all. But I was stunned. I had never felt so alone, and yet I felt a calm serenity. In that serenity, I opened up a conversation with that person deep down inside, and I got to know who they were and what they were going through. I woke up the next day and decided that suicide was no longer an option and that I was going to start re-engaging with life. That was a valuable first step, and I realized that there was something worth living for, and I may not have had it then, but I knew it existed. Everything from there was not sunshine and rainbows. I did not want to end my life, but I certainly didn't know where to begin either. 1 year later, I'd gotten a job and had many friends, started working out every day. I was reading books every week and even journaling every day, but I still felt deeply unsatisfied. It took me a while to realize that doing stuff you see other people do on Instagram isn't all that makes life. I had been doing all these things and working really hard, but I didn't actually feel anything from it. All this stuff was superficial and meaningless. I wasn't really connected with it. I stopped hanging around people who didn't make me feel valuable or supported, and I quit my job so I can actually focus on things that really matter to me, like being there for my little brother and working on school. I finally had time to think about things that I really want to do in life and what makes me feel fulfilled. And as I had more to think about, I had more to write about. I spent many months writing as much as I could from my mind to the page. I could write all my worries out in a given moment and turn them into solutions, and I trained myself to solve problems, but not to calm down. I thought surely that by solving all my problems, I would have no more problems. I was wrong. I was missing a critical element. Our response to the environment goes through the body. The mind is connected to the body and vice versa. They also influence each other. I realized that although I could listen to all the negative thoughts and worries and talk myself through hard times, I had also been teaching myself that it's okay to live in a constant physical state of stress and hypertension. Earlier this year, I noticed many physical indicators of chronic stress, such as general aches and pains, trouble sleeping, muscle tension, difficulties focusing, and many more. I'd done enough research into my own mind and to psychology in general to realize that I needed to calm down. I'd been denying it, but there was a way to navigate life that does not feel like pushing a stone up a hill, but rather letting snowballs build up as they roll down one. In recent months, I've spent less time engaging in writing during stressful times and to instead calm down before engaging my thoughts, such as introducing breathing techniques to relax my body and mind. Wellness activities such as grounding, meditation, and breathing have helped me take care of my physical self, and journaling has helped me take care of my mental self. I'll never forget how it felt to first realize that I was suffering from something I didn't understand. I felt blind and naked in a blizzard. I spent a lot of my journey assuming I could do it all alone, and I got pretty far, but there's a reason we're social creatures. We don't have to do things alone and unprepared. The tools I wish to guide you through and teach you are not just things that I Google 10 minutes before the meeting begins. They're things that I really use in my day-to-day life and tools that I wish I had at the very beginning of my journey. Tools that help me achieve things that I didn't even think I could do. I wish to do the same for you. As your wellness coordinator, it is my goal to guide you through and teach you some of valuable techniques to support your well-being and take care of your mental health. Some of the meeting activities include responding to journaling prompts, mindfulness and grounding techniques, breathing and meditation exercises, and creating affirmations. Some benefits of journaling and wellness activities are improvements in your mental health. It's effective stress management. It can make you feel more grounded and present and helps you feel calm and confident. I'm hosting, like I said at the beginning, I'm hosting two meetings every week. One meeting is on campus every Thursday at the red circle on the map on the slide. And I plan on hosting a virtual meeting every Tuesday. I am interested in knowing, for those of you that are interested in being a part of these meetings, there is a QR code right there that leads you to a survey. If you're interested, I would like to know what times work best for you on the Thursdays and Tuesdays. And if those days do not work, I'm also interested in having flexible, possibly shorter or less structured virtual meetings throughout the week beyond the structured Tuesday, Thursday meeting for people who can't come. And yeah, a little bit about me. I really enjoy listening to music, and I've been journaling every day for over a year. Yeah, if you are interested, I would be happy to see you there and fill out the QR code. That's it.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you. We're really excited for this. It's going to help a lot of people. So if you're interested, please join. Josh is really passionate, and we're very lucky to have him.
Hello, everybody. Before I start about this volunteering, I do want to give a shout out to Josh. I feel yesterday he had his very first meeting. I personally am so excited for it, and it has helped. Just like speaking to him has helped and has given me motivation, and just attending yesterday was really, really calming. And I'm sure if it's going to be like a weekly thing, especially if you attended more than once, then you are going to see changes in your life. And I feel like because it's like a group thing, like he mentioned, as social creatures that we are, it's the support that we need. So I do really highly recommend for all of you to join either virtually or in person, or hopefully both. So yeah, so we have opportunities for volunteering. We have technically 3 opportunities as of now. So there is one which is for Hurricane Florida donations. So if any of you guys have anything you guys are willing to donate, it doesn't have to be necessarily money. If it's money, then that's great. But if you have old toys, clothing, books, pens, papers, notebooks, literally anything you have in your house that you no longer use and want to give, that would be appreciated. We are going to stop collecting by November 2nd. I'm not sure if we're going to have like another one or not, but that's currently what we have now. I will be sending out like when to come and like actually give your donations and where in IVC. That will be an update that we will be giving you out, but just as of now, keep in mind that if you do have anything that you're willing to share, at least put it aside or keep it in mind. So whenever I do give the announcement, you can come by IVC and drop it off. So that's just you donating. That's just you being helpful. But if you do not have anything to donate, a volunteering opportunity is being held on November 2nd. This is to assemble the donations. So people who have donated from other places, this is, by the way, held by a retirement home facility. For some reason, they started up this donation. So, and it's located in Irvine. So if you guys want to volunteer, you guys will be going there from 6 to 8, maximum it'll be till 9. Dinner will be provided. And basically what you would be doing is just help arrange and assemble the donations that they get. Like maybe like put the books in one side and like put like the stuff in one side. I'm not really sure how they assemble it. I've never been to one before. I'm sure they'll guide you through it. But yeah, basically it's assembling the donations, and food is provided because it is a lot of hours. I do not think you have to come like the full 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. I don't think you have to commit for the whole thing. Any help would be useful, I think. And obviously you can do both. You can be a person who donates and also to go and help with the donation assembly. So that's one, volunteering. Another volunteering opportunity we have is the same retirement home who's holding that donation thing. They are also interested in having some quality time with their folks. So basically what that would mean is they still have not responded on what days that they are available, but once I get that, I'll be sending that to you as well. If those days and times work on your schedule and you guys would like to join, basically we would all meet at the same time in that place, and just like you go in, see any of them that you're interested in speaking with, you just talk, ask them about their life history or tell them about what you're doing and your interests, and I don't know, ask for advice, tell them knock jokes, whatever your heart desires, just communicate and socialize. If socializing is not your strong suit, that's completely fine. Those places are filled with different kinds of games. So if that's something you're more interested in doing, then that's great. It's just, we don't want them to feel alone, and that's just us having quality time. So that's going to be one, volunteering. Another thing that we're planning on doing is we're planning on having a card event. For those of you who were here last year, our card event is basically just us Psi Beta members, whoever, and non-members, of course. We will meet up at a specific location at a specific date, and there's going to be probably a potluck or something like that, where we all will sit down, chit chat, talk while like filling out the cards. The cards for this, unlike last year, it was like being given to like hospitals. So it was like more of like a get well soon kind of a vibe. Whereas here, it's like more of, so if you attend the volunteering at the quality time for the retirement home, you can write specific cards to specific people you spoke to. So let's say you go and you talk to some old person named, I don't know, something. And then you can like write a card to them specifically and tell them, hey, I really enjoyed our conversation. I did this today and I remembered you. Or like, I don't know, it could be a little bit more personal. So when they open the card, it won't feel just so random, you know? If you do not have the time to attend the first volunteering quality time and you do want to attend the card events, that's completely fine. You can just have like jokes in your card instead of something personal. That's completely acceptable. I'm sure they would like a joke card rather than nothing. So that's the second, technically third volunteering opportunity. And then the fourth opportunity is another retirement home, which is located in Orange Avenue. I do realize that that's kind of a drive. So if you guys cannot do that, that's again, completely fine. The issue, not really an issue, just kind of something to keep in mind is the majority of the people in the retirement home in Orange, they do have dementia. So it's more likely that they're going to be forgetting about you attending there. It's just something to keep in mind. It's not something to stop you from going or to persuade you to going. It's just something they told me to mention. And the same thing over there would be quality time where you speak with them and ask them stories and just play with them. So yeah, basically our first volunteering opportunity is assembling donations on November 2nd. And then the second one is quality time, which the dates will be given. And then the third is a card event, which would be held after the quality time volunteering. And then the fourth one is another retirement home quality time. I will be giving out, what is it called? Google form, what is it called? Surveys on like whether you guys can attend shortly after they respond on the dates. But they have agreed to doing it, so that's good.
Thank you. Thank you, Shireen. Okay, we have two more announcements. Next one is for the merch.
So we have merch available right now. We have different designs for the t-shirts and the hoodies, and then the hat is the one up there. We have a couple sizes left for polos, very limited. We only have one size for each and the medium is gone. So get yours soon. And if you go to this general meeting and the next one, you'll get 10% off. And then if you also order a shirt, a hat, and a hoodie, you also get 10% off your entire purchase. So get yours soon, and I will drop the link into the comments. So please support us.
Yes, thank you, Erin. Okay, and the last announcement I have for you is that we are taking applications for inductions right now. In order to be inducted, you would need to meet with Dr. Tucker, and in order to do that, you need to message me so I can schedule a meeting with her for you. So please just message me on Discord or email me, and we can do that, and you can be inducted and take advantage of all of the great opportunities that we have for you. So yes, that's it for me. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let Sam do the mental health segment. Sam, do you have access?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I just I gotta do this real fast. So make sure. Okay, but hang on. Okay, do you see the whole slide?
Yes, we do.
All right, so I'm gonna go super fast because I realize we're running out of time. I want to talk about seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is listed in the Diagnostic Statistics Manual as a form of major depression disorder that has a seasonal component. So a lot of the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder are very similar to the symptoms of major depressive disorder. It's just that the main thing is that it happens at a particular time of year, and when you go through that season, it seems to lift even if you didn't necessarily treat it. But the general symptoms are feeling listless, sad, depressed mood, you lose interest in previously enjoyable things, you have a low energy or sluggish feeling, you sleep too much. One thing that is unique is that people crave carbohydrates, often leading to overeating or weight gain, difficulty concentrating, feelings of hopelessness, unworthiness, or guilt. And then sometimes it does get so bad that you have something like suicidal thoughts or ideation. So the causes of serotonin, or the causes of SAD, are difficulty in regulating your serotonin levels, which means that typically in this case, you don't have enough. Another one is difficulty in regulating melatonin levels, which means that you have too much. Melatonin is the hormone that makes you sleepy, by the way. And then the combination of these two things will lead to a disruption in circadian rhythms, which also has a social component because we don't live by normal circadian rhythms in our modern day society. We are expected to be up and about after sundown. And if you live in a place where the sun starts going down earlier in the fall and winter, that could be many hours when you're like, your brain and your body are saying, it's time to hibernate. And you're like, no, I'm not going to hibernate. I have work to do. The common treatment of seasonal affective disorder, sometimes people are prescribed antidepressant medications. Personally, I know someone who starts taking their SSRIs on September 15th, and they know that they can stop taking them on March 15th. That's really kind of interesting. It's exactly 6 months. Light therapy is often prescribed, supplementing vitamin D, which is sometimes also called the sunshine hormone, and then counseling, specifically cognitive behavioral therapy, has been found to be very effective. Some interesting facts. While light therapy is the most commonly prescribed treatment for seasonal affective disorder, a randomized trial was done, and it was discovered that doing a course of cognitive behavioral therapy was equally as effective. My guess is that most people who experience this, because it is a depressive disorder, are having some errors in thinking and cognition. Getting sunlight directly on your face for 15 minutes a day causes your body to synthesize vitamin D. So that is a useful technique if you just have what's called the winter blues, which is not a major depressive disorder. It's just feeling a little bit down. And then there are some people who do have seasonal depression in the spring and summer. It is significantly less common than the fall and winter variety. And a lot of the symptoms of it tend to be the more activated symptoms of depression. You will get people who are more irritable. You'll get people who are more short-tempered. Sometimes instead of sleeping too much, they won't be able to sleep. It triggers a lot more anxiety, seemingly. And then because of the slide I picked and because I did so much research on this, I have 2 different works cited pages. So I use the Mayo Clinic for a lot of my basic stuff. And then the study specifically that talked about CBT was the one by Yadiz, Batman, and Songer and Oral, if you wanted to look that one up specifically. And how do I stop this? There we go.
Thank you so much. Okay. Ava, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Sam. Just as a reminder, if you want to get in contact with us, there's a few ways that you can achieve that. There is the Instagram, there's the Psi Beta National Facebook page, and the best way is still Discord. Oh, that's actually one of the more active places that we all talk and hang out. It's really fun. We have discussions, all that stuff. We also send out information or announcements to the Psi Beta Canvas Shell. If you're not already part of it, you'll receive an invitation, and you can also email Sina with your IVC email and she will add you to the Canvas Shell. So come to the shell. Also, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to take a picture and add it to our Instagram page. So if you are willing, please turn your camera on. And if you don't want your picture to be taken, just keep your camera off.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing so we can all be there.
Yes. So
there we are.
Okay. 3, oh. 3, 2, 1, keys. All right. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Yay, thank you. Okay. I think we're all done. If you guys have any questions, we're here. If not, we're all done. You guys are free to go. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.